If you don't know our story, 3 years ago we bought a piece of land in the center of Portugal. We didn't know exactly what we were going to do, but we know we needed to get out of the city. Soon after arrival we bought a second property here, and our mission of saving the ghost town from destruction became clear. By now we bought multiple properties in this little village. The first 2 years we spent on making the main house structurally sound again. We replaced the whole roof and put in new windows and doors. Now we are in the stage of doing the inside of the building. We started with the main living area, but the old kitchen was really a proper mess. It barely held up for dear life. We had a chef arriving that needed a better kitchen to cook in. Therefore, we set all other projects aside for this chef to have the possibility to cook for more people. So the last couple of months we've been busy renovating our community kitchen. We were on schedule to finish my part of the house, but opportunity arose, and this project is not only about me. Yeah, some parts of the demolition went better than others. So while we were rebuilding the kitchen, we also still needed to cook and eat in the same kitchen. First we needed to finish off the top of the wall. We had some laying around cheese stones, and I tried to get it as level as possible. And here you see me already rendering off the first top part of the wall. Yeah, so yesterday I was working on rendering this. That worked perfectly. This looks so good. Still enough to do though. So I quickly went on with preparing the rest of the wall for cementing. I'm trying to get all the loose parts out of there, all the edges that are sticking up. And I'm also scraping a little bit of the sand out to get a better attachment from the cement to the wall. After all the preparation work is finally done, we can start rendering off the walls with the cement. Keep in mind, at this point I don't have much experience in rendering off walls. Not with cement or anything else really. I had some tryouts in other parts of the house, but this is the first big project that I'm doing. But in this kitchen project I'm really learning to render off walls with cement. You can see the progress in the different parts of the kitchen we're going to do. But actually this first wall also went pretty well, and I was pretty happy with myself. On to the next one. By now I learned a new technique from the Portuguese. They throw very wet cement like directly on the wall. You don't need to wet the wall before you do that, because the cement is already so wet. If you wet the wall, then it just slides down. And this gives a good base layer, and it gives an ability to fill up holes by just flicking more cement in the holes. Yeah, actually a pretty fun but dirty job to do. And then it was time to finish off the wall. This is where I still struggle a little. This was the second big wall I ever did. And yeah, you learn a lot as you go. Yeah, and with the second wall I was actually also pretty pleased. Could have been a lot better, but I was happy with it. And then it was time to start on the floor. Also a job that I don't have much experience with. I'm gonna learn as I go. I set out some beams to keep the cement in place, because we're doing the floor in parts. And as you can see, we need to fill up a lot of the floor. Also here I take schist stones that I found laying around to fill up the bigger parts. What was quite a job. But I didn't want to spend too much cement in, I think it was 10 or 15 centimeters. So yeah, this seemed like a better solution. We worked all the way into the night to get this done.
That's how you prepare a concrete surface properly to apply a patch in such a way that it's not going to fit.
Enough learning, let's try this. Yeah, that started out really well. I was pleased with how this was going. Especially considering this was my first big part of a floor. I managed to get it all pretty level. For the other parts we're going to use another technique. So because the countertop is going to end up higher than the bottom of the window, I need to brick up a little bit of the window. Mind you, this is a temporary kitchen. Eventually the door and the window from this room still need to be replaced. But yeah, we needed the kitchen fast. Yeah, and then it was time to start painting the first part. This is always the moment where you see the real results. Painting is a thing in general I know how to do. Another thing I know how to do reasonably well is put IKEA stuff together. And normally I don't start with reading a manual. With IKEA stuff I would recommend starting reading the manual first. They have some weird ways of putting stuff together sometimes. Yeah, there were quite some packages to unpack here and put together. Basically I ordered 4 kitchens. This was like small L-sized parts, and we needed these were actually 4 kitchen units, and we put 2 and 2 together to make 2 corners. Now we're only doing the first corner. Yeah, and keep checking the manual as you go. And that's the first part of the kitchen together. Looks kind of good from this perspective, right? Let me show you. Except for a small problem here on the side. And we'll fix that later. Yeah, and then it's time to start doing some plumbing. We didn't have any water in this kitchen before. We used an outside sink. In this new kitchen we're gonna have 3 sinks. So we're gonna have to connect up some water connections. So yeah, these are the connections we're gonna use. And you use them with this multicam pipe. It's basically a clamping system. We also need a solution for the hot water. Here you see me trying installing a water heater. It's a 30-liter capacity boiler. We have one in the bathroom already, but I wanted this to have its own separate water heater. I did already a reasonably fair share of plumbing in my renovation days. But in Portugal it's all a little bit different. You have different materials. For instance, the tape that they use to make it watertight, somehow in Portugal it's a lot thinner. I always used to do 7 rotations. In Portugal you need at least 14. I learned that the hard way. Meu Deus. But yeah, just try again. Luckily I managed to get it closed this time. And then something special happened while I was still outside. I caught it on video. It's the meteor. I got it in. Watertight. Finally. That was a long night yesterday. Apparently we still have a lot to learn there. Then it's on with the next job. The first part of the electricity. We never installed sockets in this room. There were some left over from the former inhabitants, but we needed to replace it all. And then I finally could see what the position would be for the cabinets and attach them to the wall. We still need to deal with the problem between the wall and the cabinets. You'll see that in a bit. Yeah, and then we had another cool idea for the kitchen. I ordered some extra IKEA cabinets for that. Yes, you guessed it. We're gonna have an island. I still wanna do something to make it a little bit more special. You'll see the finished result in a bit. Time to continue on the wet part of the kitchen. You can guess what I'm doing here. You can clearly see here that the worktop is not ending up against the wall. I thought about a smart solution for that. At least, I thought it was smart. Here we're installing the tap. And then we only need some drainage. And we should be good to go for some water. And here you see my smart solution for the room between the countertop and the wall. This is also a trick I learned recently with wood dust and glue. Yeah, so I took different sizes of wood to fill up the cavity, because the cavity was far from straight and I didn't want to put a big piece of wood along the whole countertop. And that is the first part of this kitchen done. Almost. Because we still needed to do quite a big job. What is the connections for the water and the drainage? Yeah, so a couple of small jobs we still needed to do. Mainly this pipe, where everybody is tripping over. I'm gonna do that first. Yeah, and after everything is back in, it's just filling it up. The chef was getting used to his new kitchen. And there it is, the chef's island. Tonight we have tacos. We still needed to eat in the same kitchen. If you're thinking, I don't see enough videos from the Ghost Town anymore, did you know we also have a daily channel now? Where you can see Zoe, Akira and me every day. And see how we did this other room, for instance. Link is in the description, or just search for GHOSTTOWN Daily. Back to the kitchen. Then I also bought this 7-stage water filter. Our water comes from the next village, where they have a pump to pump it out of the ground. But they add a lot of chloride to it. And this filter filters everything. Apparently. The first time you hook it up, you need to rinse it out. But after that, you have very nice, clear drinking water. And then I decided to do a little side project. There was some other stuff in the kitchen that also needed to be taken care of. Here I'm making some boxes. You'll see what they're for very soon. The more I work with wood, the more I appreciate making things out of wood. That went pretty well. Let's make another one. And after a lick of paint, I think they look amazing.
Nada. Nadinha. Nadinha. Nadinha de nada. It's in Portuguese.
And then help arrived. Volunteer Selena came out to help. We got the rendering of the wall done pretty fast. So I ripped out a big root from the tree that is like here in front. And then it was on to the next part of the floor. And here I decided to put up 2 ridges. And then screed in between the ridges. What made the laying of the floor go a lot faster. So first on either side of the floor you make this level ridge. And then you let it dry a little. I still needed to fill it up a bit. Again with the GHOSTTOWN. And then I started screeding it off in between the ridges. The one thing I would have done different there is do it all on one day. Because then the concrete attaches better to each other. And also with some help, the second part of the IKEA kitchen was put together pretty quickly. Almost there. You're coming for an inspection. How do you like it? And then it was on to the second part of the plumbing. I already extended the plumbing almost until where it needed to go. So now I just needed to hook it up. Because on this side we're also gonna have a sink. A single one. So yeah, also here basically rinse and repeat. We did it all before, right? Let's not make the same mistakes again. Because I made some miscalculations, we couldn't hang these cabinets on the wall. So I decided to make another island. We can make good use of all the storage in this kitchen. Then it was also on to the second part of the electricity. It all goes a lot faster when you know what you're doing, basically. Again, let's not try to make the same mistakes again. Yeah, that's all starting to look pretty nice. Also on this side we needed to fill the gaps between the wall and the countertop a little, but not as much as on the other side. Then I got an idea to do something special for the backsplash of the stove. I was already a fan of these Portuguese tiles, and I was looking for a way I could use them somewhere. And this was the first opportunity. I haven't been tiling for a while, so that was a little bit of struggle again. But eventually it turned out pretty good, I think. And then it was on to the finishing touches of this second part of the kitchen. I still needed to install the extraction unit, make a hole outside. And then I also still needed to install the new gas stove. And we were also still waiting for another finishing part for the kitchen. But the chef was happy that he could cook now in the new part of the kitchen. And then there was some other volunteers arriving. These are Alex and Marcus. These guys are woodworkers from Germany. And they set out to make some furniture for the new kitchen.
Müsste gewesen sein, ne? Ist okay.
Moment, mein Arm hängt hier fest. Jetzt.
But then it was up to me to sand and paint the new furniture. Yeah, the guys did really a great job on making this furniture for the kitchen. Thank you so much, Marcus and Alex. I do love this new table I can sit on. How do you like the color? We are getting there. More than half of the kitchen is already done. And I'm starting to feel at home in this kitchen. Just one more layer and we should be done. Marcus and Alex also quickly made another little gadget for the kitchen. Yeah, that was a roll holder. Yeah, these IKEA kitchens are very cheap and simple. And by default they don't come with a lot of shelves. Yeah, I made a lot of extra shelfies. Like I said, we need the storage. More space. And then it's already on to the last part of the wall. So what they did with these walls is they put lime on it, because they didn't have paint back in the day. And this lime best to come off before we start painting it. And then I also got to do one of my more favorite jobs. Throwing the cement. Yeah, so like I explained in the video, I don't want to keep this as a feature wall. I just want a nice and smooth white wall. And then finally the missing piece of the puzzle arrived. Yeah, we have an oven. Bing. With all kind of options. A lot of options. Very pleased with that. But now let's finish off this last part of the wall. As you can see here, my rendering has gotten a lot better at this point. It takes a certain experience how to see to get a wall as straight as possible. And on to the last part of the painting. Now one of the final steps is to connect the electricity to my newly created boxes. And once that was in, it was on to the final piece of the floor. Here I'm doing the same technique again, cementing up a ridge. And then it's actually just pouring in a lot of cement. And screeding it off. Also my floor laying abilities have increased significantly by this point. And there we go, the floor completely finished. Still need to do the bottom part of the wall with a little paint. Now this corner is gonna have a special purpose. To me it might be the most important part of the kitchen. No. What did you do? And for this special part of the kitchen I want to make a special kind of cabinet. And there you have it already on the wall. I still needed to finish off some of the electricity. And connect them to my newly created electricity boxes. And then the most important part in the corner arrived. Yes, it's the coffee machine. We do have the most perfect coffees here in the GHOSTTOWN. They taste how they look.
Adding additional drainage here because we get some cooling water when it rains, mostly due to lots of rainwater being pushed into the garden by passing cars on the nearby road. First I'm going to need to cut away some of this concrete to establish a straight line. I'd already marked it out using a chalk line. And by the way, this concrete slope needs redoing.